Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
When someone feels that they're so at risk they have to take their law in their own hands, here's what I would say to them: don't.
Amid fear and frustration, police plead for patience as they work to crack down on extortionists in BC. Plus, loved ones say a young BC woman is the Canadian found dead on a beach in Australia. Her dad says she wanted to be a pilot. And
it is a number that's still far too high for the amount of trucks that we see on our roads.
Police say more than half of commercial vehicles inspected in the Lower Mainland last year were taken off the roads.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. The head of BC's Extortion Task Force is pleading with people not to take the law into their own hands. That request comes after yet another shooting in Surrey believed to be linked to extortions. And as Saurabh Sandhu reports, in another case, a victim allegedly fired back at a suspect.
Surrey police say someone shot at this car dealership in the heart of Newton early Tuesday morning, damaging the business and cars parked outside.
At this time, we do believe that this shooting is related to the ongoing series of extortions in Surrey.
The SPS says the dealership was closed at the time and no one was hurt, but it is the 8th shooting tied to 35 cases of suspected extortion in Surrey alone since the start of the year.
I think the key point of contention is really that despite promises and increased efforts by the police, that the actual net effect appears to have been one of exacerbating and increasing the amount of extortion that's occurred.
Early Saturday morning, shots were fired outside this home on Galloway Crescent near Bear Creek Park. Police say they believe it is also connected to extortion. Officers are also checking reports that someone inside the house tried to shoot back. The homeowner declined to speak with CBC News. One criminologist says victims taking matters into their own hands is a sign of desperation.
I think the fact that people are now in a position where they feel they have to resort to defending themselves signals that this is not an extortion crisis anymore. This is a public safety crisis.
The head of BC's task force disagrees.
There's not a crisis. A crisis is what's happening out there with drug overdoses. That's a crisis. People are dying. This is a threat to public safety.
Questions about self-defense and public concern dominated an update from extortion investigators.
There's no need for anybody to take the law in their hands or engage in overt acts of self-defense here.
Brewer acknowledges there has been an uptick in extortion-related shootings so far this year, but stresses police are working around the clock.
It's logged over 1,000 separate exhibits, plus hundreds of hours of CCTV in the quest for completing these investigations.
Brewer says the provincial task force has worked on 32 extortion files since it was formed last September. So far, 7 people have been charged in BC and 9 removed from Canada. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
Police say more than half of commercial vehicles they inspected in the Lower Mainland last year were taken off the roads. As the CBC's Amelia John explains, some in the trucking industry are calling for more enforcement.
There are thousands of trucks taking this stretch of Highway 1 in Burnaby each day. RCMP here have been cracking down on unsafe commercial vehicles, carrying out 47 enforcement operations last year, with more than 50% of vehicles pulled off the road.
The good news is they are coming down. So about 4 years ago, we were at 62%. So we are progressively year over year, slowly coming down, and that is the trend we want to see. But it is a number that's still far too high for the amount of trucks that we see on our roads.
The enforcement blitz in Burnaby is part of a wider crackdown in the Lower Mainland. A dozen local police forces and municipal agencies checked nearly 3,000 commercial vehicles last year. Over 1,600 had issues.
There's a certain level of complacency that's gotten into the industry where it's a feeling of, well, nothing ever happens, so I'm not going to take those potentially 10 seconds to prevent what could be a catastrophic accident or loss of life.
Cargo securement is a big issue, as well as defective vehicles.
British Columbia is the only jurisdiction in North America that requires inspections every 6 months, and yet this continues to happen. How is it that vehicles are being found with serious mechanical issues?
Repeat offenders are another problem.
When you get into situations where there's deliberate and willful non-compliance, in our view, that person or that company has simply stepped away and is no longer has the trust of society to operate, so they shouldn't.
The Trucking Association says it's been in continuous talks with the Ministry of Transportation about what can be done to help increase enforcement efforts and education to get those who are willfully not complying with the rules off the road. Amelia John, CBC News, Burnaby.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is making international headlines for what he said earlier in the day in Davos, Switzerland. It was a hard-hitting address to the World Economic Forum and a thinly veiled broadside against the United States. More now from the CBC's Ashley Burke.
The Prime Minister delivering a provocative speech, declaring that the rules that have governed global affairs for decades are effectively dead.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
Mark Carney telling business and political leaders in Davos that Canada has to accept a world where big powers are using economic might to coerce.
The middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
Carney not naming the U.S., but sending a clear message, saying it's time to criticize economic intimidation no matter what.
It means acting consistently, applying the same standards to allies and rivals.
The Prime Minister aligning himself with European allies during Donald Trump's latest economic threat against those resisting his bid to take over Greenland.
Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland.
How are you? I'm fine.
While in Davos, Carney spoke with two key allies, Britain and France, countries on the front lines of Trump's latest tariff threat, after sending small contingents of troops to Greenland, viewed as a show of support.
Prefer respect to bullies. We do prefer science to plotism. And we do prefer rule of law to brutality.
The Foreign Affairs Minister asked if Canada will do the same to support sovereignty exercises the Danes are planning.
Regarding future deployments and future exercises, those are decisions that the Minister of National Defence makes together with the Chief of Defence Staff.
For all of his bluntness, Carney seemed to do everything to ensure that he didn't directly name Donald Trump in his speech. The U.S. president is expected to deliver his own address here on Wednesday, just as Carney is expected to leave. The Prime Minister's office says that so far there is no meeting scheduled between the two leaders. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Davos, Switzerland.
Authorities have now identified the Canadian tourist who was found dead on an Australian beach on Monday. Piper James was from Campbell River. Two men discovered the 19-year-old's body surrounded by a pack of dingoes. Her loved ones are understandably devastated.
And I asked, would I be able to have an open casket when I bring her home? And he paused and he said, mate, no, mate, it's not going to happen.
Police have not yet determined whether James drowned or died in an attack by the wild dogs. A postmortem is scheduled for Wednesday. James had reportedly told friends she was going for a swim earlier in the day. Her dad says she planned to get her pilot's license. A tech conference created by and for Indigenous communities is bringing industry leaders together here in BC in order to help others. As Pinky Wong shows us, organizers call it the largest gathering for Indigenous tech innovation in Canada.
Hundreds of entrepreneurs, investors, and community members are here for the Indigenous Tech Conference, and organizers say having this dedicated space is significant.
When we're able to curate our own spaces and walk into a room surrounded by Indigenous people, we're not just asking for a seat at the table, we've created our own table. And it's empowering.
She says the nonprofit is created to amplify Indigenous voices and help professionals get connected to mentorship and investment opportunities.
There's a lot of barriers that Indigenous people face to even walk through those doors. And this is one space that all of our members can walk into, and they don't have to carve out pieces of their identity to make themselves themselves palatable to dominant society.
This founder says his Ojibwe and Métis background inspired him to create digital data platforms for his communities.
Research done by other people that were not from that community and held in government databases and other institutional databases with no real benefit to the communities where the original data was collected.
He says his platform helps bring control and assets of cultural data back to Indigenous communities.
We work with the Six Nations Survivors Secretariat based out of Ontario in supporting historical and archival records around the Mohawk Indian Residential School that operated for over 150 years. So we have all of the community data all in one spot so the community can access it and get answers about the stories and the memories that are held within that data.
This Musqueam elder describes the conference as an important event to bridge past and present.
With the help of technology, we can help protect, preserve, and make it a lot easier for everyone, even that grandma with the phone on her hand, to learn a little bit about who she is and where she comes from.
Organizers say the conference will drive innovation and help build lasting connections among communities. Pinky Wong, CBC News, Richmond.
Well, it's been hard to miss dense fog blanketing much of Metro Vancouver this week. But sea and air transportation press on. As Troy Charles shows us, a combination of old and new technology is helping crews navigate the low visibility.
When it comes to air travel, many people are familiar with autopilot, but how many are aware of auto landing?
My first experience with that type of landing, I was absolutely amazed.
With this spell of fog and reduced visibility, many flights have been landing at YVR using ILS, Instrument Landing Systems. ILS is a radio navigation system. Along with the help from the control tower, it gives guidance to pilots, allowing them to approach a runway in bad weather.
That close communication is what really carries the day in terms of whether that aircraft is going to land in the conditions that we're seeing.
The ILS system has 3 categories. Cat 3 deals with the most severe weather, where landings could have near zero visibility. According to NAV Canada, YVR is one of 4 Canadian airports that are equipped to handle Cat 3 landings, the others being YYC in Calgary, YYZ in Toronto, and YYT in St. John's.
It's a hands-off approach, and the pilots basically are there to recover in the case of an incident. But it's really the airplane landing itself.
Meanwhile, on the water, a more traditional tactic. Ships use foghorns to alert others of their position during restricted visibility. For many living near the water, the foghorn has recently become a common soundtrack.
Vessels that are underway are required to sound a foghorn every 2 minutes, and vessels at anchor are required to sound a foghorn every minute.
Baxter says the use of foghorns is Canadian law, and while the fog has caused some operational impacts, he says the port remains open for business.
All deep-sea vessels that move in the Port of Vancouver have a local, experienced pilot on board to assist navigation.
A variety of measures for ships and planes to push through as the fog persists. Troy Charles, CBC News, Vancouver.
So how long will that fog persist? We asked Darius Madavi, our weather expert, for a first look. What's going on?
We're going to start to see it lift a little bit more as we head into tomorrow. So by the afternoon, quite a bit of clearing will have happened, maybe even late morning. And then in the days ahead, still more fog, but definitely lighter. So this fog advisory that we have in place covering much of southwest BC and much of the lower mainland will likely lift tomorrow afternoon. We won't see it return. There's a chance that we'll start to see heavier fog sit in again and they'll feel the need to reissue it. But for the most part, Thursday and beyond, we should start to see that lighten up quite a bit. Still patchy fog in the mornings, especially by the water, so be on the lookout, but much less thick than what we have been seeing, not reforming maybe every night. We have this ridge of high pressure over BC that's continuing to weaken and move off. That means that temperatures will continue to shift quite a bit. The inversion that we've had, freezing levels will start to fall here on the south coast. Temperatures also coming down quite a bit. And Dan, other than that, more fog tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Enjoy while it's here.
And we'll enjoy the horns too, won't we? Massive potholes on the Coquihalla Highway are causing big problems for big rigs. More on that and the costly problems for the truckers. Next. The head of the BC Trucking Association says massive potholes on the Coquihalla Highway are creating dangerous problems for long-haul truckers. Shelley Joyce has more.
Yeah, these tires here, all tires have different grooves. When that hits a pothole, it can go right or left, or you can hit a rut at the same time, and then that's when you can lose control.
Richard Weens has been driving truck for 41 years. He's based in Calgary, drives across the country as part of his job, and at least once or twice a week, he travels the Coquihalla Highway between Merritt and Hope.
You hit that pothole at a certain moment, it can get you into real quick trouble instantly. And if there's anybody around you, they're in trouble. The worst tire to blow is a steer tire, because then you have no control. Once that blows, you've lost your steering.
Imagine hitting a pothole with a transport truck that hauls new vehicles to a dealership. This driver told CBC it felt like hitting a brick wall with his enormous load of new cars. No signage, no warnings, and the cost to his truck from that one pothole? Tires, Bumper, $4,000. But that doesn't include the lost revenue from the truck being out of service for the day. Dave Earle is the president and CEO of the BC Trucking Association.
The potholes that we're seeing are so big and so deep that they're really causing problems for trucks. So you're into thousands of dollars with steering linkages, bent wheels. We have massive holes that are a half a meter wide and a meter or two long. We can't have those. We just can't have them.
The BC Trucking Association is expecting that temporary measures will begin this week to make the highway safer. Meanwhile, this trucker is left with more worries than answers.
We have a lot of new drivers out here, and they don't have the experience that a senior driver has.
The Ministry of Transportation and Transit have announced temporary closures and detours planned for highways 1 and 3 near Hope for emergency repair work. Check Drive BC for the latest. Shelley Joyce, CBC News, Kamloops.
The Special Olympic Winter Canada Games are coming to Kelowna in 2028. As Brady Strachan tells us, they add to a growing list of major events for the Okanagan's largest city.
We know the 2028 Special Olympics Canada National Games will be the best games ever.
Cheers and celebration in Kelowna on Tuesday as organizers and athletes officially revealed the news. In 2028, Kelowna will host the qualifying events for Canadian athletes, hoping to compete at the Special Olympics World Winter Games in Switzerland the following year. For local athlete Cassidy Rutledge, it's a chance to compete on home snow.
I'm very excited to show off my talent to different athletes across Canada.
Rutledge will compete in snowshoeing at the Winter Games, building upon recent success in Special Olympics powerlifting, where she claimed a world championship title.
It's very exciting, and I get to see everybody come to all the venues and race and have fun.
Ethan Sun is another Kelowna athlete, a multi-sport competitor. He'll be taking part in curling.
It is very exciting. I like to bring the national games here in Kelowna.
Sun and Rutledge will be among an estimated 1,300 athletes. Officials say the event could generate more than $7 million in economic impact. Kelowna Mayor Tom Dias says the city is continuing to build its reputation as a year-round destination for major events. Last year, the city hosted the Canadian Country Music Awards and the Brier. Well, this year, the Memorial Cup tournament is coming to town.
It's extremely important, and that's why we've put a team together at the city to look at specifically what cultural events are available to consider bidding on, what sporting events are available to consider bidding on, how do we look at putting that, and how do we build that reputation.
With the Games more than 2 years away, Rutledge says preparation starts now, with consistent training aimed at performing on a national stage.
To show them how we are capable of and how strong we are and how fast we can run.
Brady Strachan, CBC News, Kelowna.
Yep, more fog across the south coast, but Darius will paint us a BC-wide weather picture in his forecast coming up. As we told you, the Prime Minister delivered a blunt message to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland earlier today. Mark Carney says the old rules-based international order is over. Meanwhile, other world leaders are slamming Donald Trump's expansionist foreign policy. Anna Cunningham has more on their reactions.
There is a united message coming from European leaders on Greenland as they really scramble to get their voices heard ahead of the arrival of US President Donald Trump in Davos Wednesday. Now, we've heard from the French President Emmanuel Macron. He's made clear that tariffs are unacceptable, especially when, he said, used as leverage against territorial sovereignty. Take a listen to some of what he said in Davos.
Not to totally forget what we learned from the Second World War and remain committed to cooperation. And this is also because of those principles that we have decided to join the mutual exercise in Greenland without threatening anyone, but just supporting an ally and another European country, Denmark.
Any European nation troops on exercise in Greenland are, he said, not threatening anyone. Clearly a message directed at President Trump. The Danish Defence Minister, we know, has already said that military exercises are to strengthen their ability to operate in the region, with Arctic security a priority. And the Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, has made her view clear. Speaking to the Danish Parliament earlier, she said, if anyone starts a trade war against us, we must respond. The European Union's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, speaking in Strasbourg, has echoed this. Take a listen.
Greenland belongs to its people. No threat or tariffs will change that. Sovereignty is not for trade. The European Union stands without doubt with Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark in defense of their territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Davos has already seen some protests ahead of the arrival of US President Donald Trump Wednesday. Just like Canada, Britain will be watching closely. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
Israel has torn down buildings that had housed United Nations offices in East Jerusalem. Staff of the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency had to vacate the structures last year after Israel ordered them out. The CBC's senior correspondent Sasha Petrusik has details from the site.
The bulldozers arrived early this morning, escorted by Israeli police, and they started to destroy the UNRWA compound. That is the main UN agency that takes care of Palestinian refugees anywhere in this region. Israel has maintained that UNRWA, this agency in particular, has been infiltrated by Hamas, that many of the people who were involved in the attack on October 7th in fact, were UNRWA employees. So the UN did investigate. It got rid of some 9 employees, but the rest continued to work. It continued to try to do its work. But since last year, Israel passed laws which effectively made it impossible for UNRWA to continue, and this was the result. Now, the UN insists that this territory is protected under international law. Israel does not see it that way. And one of the people watching this morning, watching this demolition, was a cabinet minister from Israel who's been pushing this exact strategy against the UN to get the UN out of here, Itamar Ben-Gvir. This is what he had to say.
והיום תומכי הטרור האלה מסולקים מכאן עם כל מה שהם בנו כאן. כך לעשות לכל מי שתומך טרור בירושלים.
Now, the head of UNRWA, who has been fighting to keep this building up and to keep the agency operating, he said this was a new level of open and deliberate defiance of international law. Israel insists that this land belongs to it, that legally the agency has been kicked out. Over the past while, it has in fact cut off relations with 33 UN agencies, 33 other international agencies, including NGOs, accusing all of them of being too sympathetic of Hamas and effectively making it very difficult for them to operate, especially in Gaza, but it's also affecting Palestinians here in East Jerusalem as well. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News in East Jerusalem.
Back in this country, an Alberta doctor is sounding the alarm, saying he has a list of deaths and near misses that happened in emergency rooms over just 2 weeks. And as Julia Wong explains, they happened because of long wait times.
Alberta emergency rooms under pressure, and some doctors say people are dying while they wait.
Every single one of my colleagues in emergency medicine and internal medicine have been telling me they've never seen the system this bad.
This ER physician says he compiled a list. 6 deaths and dozens of so-called near misses in ERs in a 2-week period starting late December. They include a man who left ER after waiting at least 7 hours to be seen. He was later admitted to ICU with a serious blood infection and died. Also, a woman who waited 8 hours with a bowel obstruction. She was septic, underwent surgery, but died in ICU 24 hours later. The list sent to ministers and healthcare agencies with a plea for help.
This is a sampling of what we're seeing every day, and we feel very distressed that we cannot give safe and timely care.
The list put together in the aftermath of Prashant Shrikumar's death. The 44-year-old died in an Edmonton ER after his family says he waited 8 hours to see a doctor. Albertans we spoke to have worries.
I know anytime you hear a story like that, absolutely it worries me about the system.
It could be me, it could be my wife, I don't know, and it's kind of scary.
An organization representing ER physicians says it's an issue Canada-wide.
The problem is definitely quite bad in Alberta and specifically in Edmonton right now, but I can tell you that emergency departments are struggling in crisis right across the country.
Both the health agency and the Alberta government say they won't comment on any of the cases outlined in the letter due to patient privacy. But the province has pledged to bring back triage doctors to help prioritize care, and the hospital minister is expected to meet with health providers to discuss other solutions. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
A longtime Vancouver Island craft brewery is shutting down at the end of this month. Lighthouse Brewing Company in Victoria has been crafting beers for 27 years. But on Monday, the company announced it is selling its brand to Phillips Brewing, also in Victoria. Lighthouse is now winding down its brewing facility and tasting room. The closure comes as craft breweries across the country shut down and sales dry up. Ben Thomas is a co-owner and GM of Lighthouse and joins us now. Ben, I suppose if there is good news, your customers can still buy your beers at stores and pubs, but the operation's shutting down. What led to this decision to sell?
Well, I guess the decision to, accept reality that the struggle was real for the last number of years. It's been a very difficult road for us and many other craft breweries, and with rising costs and, a saturated market, changes in demographics of drinkers and, economic factors that we can't control. It's been a real tough go for a lot of us for the last little while. And, everything just kind of came to a head, and we looked at every way that we possibly could to save the company, and one of those avenues led us to conversations with the guys over at Phillips about them acquiring the brands, and it was an opportunity to ensure the continuation of the legacy of the Lighthouse beers, and to make sure that people in Victoria and throughout the province would still be able to get those beers.
A number of factors you mentioned there. What about the strike by BCGEU workers that hit liquor distribution in BC? How did that affect you?
That was probably the last straw. That was super, super bad. All of our packaged products go through the LDB, so the liquor distribution branch warehouse delivers our flats of beer to every liquor store in British Columbia, and we pay them to do that. And when they were part of the strike and shut down, probably cost us about $5,000 to $10,000 a day in lost revenue. And so when that's prolonged over the course of a certain number of weeks, that's a tough thing to come back from. And already, when we're already reeling and struggling, and the industry is already in a state of turmoil, For that to go down the way it did was extremely challenging and very, very frustrating.
Given the changes you mentioned in the business, rising costs, changing demographics of drinkers, we are seeing a pullback of at least some generations from drinking alcohol. Where do you see the business going from here?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. It certainly is a big shift from certainly when I was growing up in high school in the 90s. But yeah, that's a major thing for sure. So you're seeing a lot of breweries, changing, adding different things to their portfolio, whether it's sodas or, ready to drink cocktails or non-alcoholic beer or whatever. But I do think that one of the big things that we're going to see, which has already happened in the mainland and now it's starting to happen here, is, sort of consolidation, merging, breweries all coming together to share one facility, really, minimizing overheads and stuff like that, because we're all trying our best out here and trying our best to make good beers and stuff, but sometimes that's just not enough when dollars and cents are involved. So it's going to be an uphill battle. So everybody go out there and support your local breweries while you can.
Ben Thomas, co-owner of Lighthouse Brewing in Victoria, we appreciate your time and thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
This winter could be especially deadly for bee colonies on Prince Edward Island. We'll explain why coming up.
So I know when I really like a song, if within the first 3 seconds, I'm already vibing to it.
Hey, I'm Rohith Joseph. Vibin' is the new show all about discovering great new songs and fresh artists from across BC and beyond.
It's not one person dictating what good music is, it's the community sharing what good music is.
Stream Vibin' on CBC Listen.
The City of Victoria says more shelter spaces are coming. Over 30 people now living on the street will be able to transition into the new space, which is set to open this spring.
It's the first step off the street, and it is certainly at the beginning going to be focused on helping folks who are currently on Pandora, Princess, and throughout the downtown to be able to find a location where they can have the needs that they have right away addressed.
Renovations are underway to transform a public works building into a shelter, along with food, showers, laundry, and a place to sleep. People staying there will also have access to caseworkers to help connect them to social services and more permanent housing. The shelter is currently funded for 3 years with $6 million from the province and $700,000 from the city. Now, even though it's an American football team, BC is home to many fans of the Seattle Seahawks. And one researcher says the inspiration for the team's logo comes from a source a lot closer to home. Have a look.
I was teaching an art history class at the University of Washington.
The football team was doing quite well, and they actually won a couple of years in a row. So they came up with the idea to track that mask down.
A lot of my students were asking me if I knew anything about the Seahawk logo, and I just happened to know because of my association with Bill Holm, who let me know that he knew where the design came from. And, you know, my students had some sort of bizarre theories about, they thought it was the Egyptian god Horus. Bill knew that they had just looked in one of the few books at that time, this was back in 1975, I think. And there were relatively few books about Northwest Coast art. The NFL Seahawks people picked out of the book and said, that looks like a good one. And the name had already been selected. So they knew it was they were looking for a Seahawk. And this profile met their criteria. So they used that. And it just happens to be a Coquihalla mask from Vancouver Island. And so, you know, if they had done a little more research and had wanted some kind of Indigenous design from the Seattle area, they would have maybe gone for a Coast Salish design. I put a little blog on the Burke Museum website to illustrate this original the original view that they used to do the logo. Gretchen Faulkner, who's the director of the Hudson Museum at the University of Maine, in Orono, Maine, of all places, about as far away as you could get from Seattle. And she said, I saw the blog, and did you know that we have that mask in our museum?
We applied for a grant to go visit the Burke Museum, but I kept stalling out, and then I got a phone call saying, you better get down here, the Seahawk mask's coming.
He was thrilled to come down and see the mask and tell us what he knew about that type of mask, and actually confirming that it comes from there, and that looking at the wear and tear on the mask, it was probably one that had been used in ceremony. And I don't think he knew who carved it, but we're still hoping maybe someday figure out a carver's name that might or the owner's name.
It was an old, like an old piece. They certainly treated it like it was the Holy Grail when they brought it in. I mean, it was, it was old, and it was, it was not much holding it together.
The weather update is brought to you by the BC Cancer Foundation. The future of cancer care can be your legacy. Fuel innovation and life-saving treatments by leaving a gift in your will today.
Darius Madavi is here with the BC-wide forecast. But Darius, I have to ask you this. Aurora Borealis, at this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within BC?
Great Simpsons reference? I only know
Super
because
Nintendo Chalmers.
I saw somebody say that online, and I was like, I don't understand what this means.
Yeah,
And then I had to
you'll
look up
learn
the
one day,
reference.
young man.
Yeah, all right. Well, Northern Lights, they were visible last night, but you had to be very determined to see them, at least here down in Vancouver and more southern latitudes, because they didn't really start to really put on a show until like 2 to 4 a.m. This is up in Kitimat, where definitely a little bit easier to get a good show at those higher latitudes. Thank you to Ashley for sending this in. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't see anything down here. This is Cyprus at 11:30 p.m. from the webcam there. And you can see just a little bit of a green tinge, but it's not until later that you really start to see the show. If you're willing to stay up till 3:30 a.m., that's when it really started to pick up. The magnetic fields lined up just right, and we had still a lot of storm intensity ramping back up. So that's what you need. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Again, a very faint green glow along here at around 11:30 p.m., but then 3:30 a.m., really spectacular auroras. You can see those pillars even dancing. I know some people who were out last night who said that it was really spectacular. But I have to say, if there's one place I would love to see the Northern Lights from, it is the International Space Station. This is a video posted by one of the Russian cosmonauts on the space station, and it's quite a sight. It's very, very rare to see these red pillars coming up so high. It requires a lot of energy being fed into the system to do that, and we got that last night, so pretty special. There's another chance tonight, so get out there. Many people still have clear skies tonight. Worth getting out to have a look, maybe get above the valley cloud or the fog if you have that. You only need to get up a couple hundred meters here on the coast. If you're seeing foggy conditions, get up a couple hundred meters, you should be good to go. I know Queen Elizabeth Park even last night was high enough at 125 meters of elevation to see the Northern Lights. But turning back more to the weather, temperatures over the next few days continue to fall in the northeast and parts of the southern interior. Definitely a little bit chillier tomorrow. Here on the coast, it's a similar situation. As that ridge of high pressure weakens, our inversions weaken as well. That means that here on the coast, those temperatures at higher elevations will slowly start to come down once more. We do get some cool outflow coming later in the week in Vancouver, so that's Friday, Saturday. Expect chillier temperatures also lasting into Sunday. With that being said, avalanche danger has come down quite a bit and is remaining low. No real big spikes in the forecast. Lots of valley clouds still in the interior tomorrow. And here's our 5-day forecast. Dan, another foggy start tomorrow, then the fog mostly ends, and we have more mainly sunny but chillier conditions on the way. Look out for those -2 lows.
There we are. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Canadians know how frustrating winter temperature swings can be, but freeze and thaw cycles are more than just annoying for one of the world's most important species. For bees, they can be deadly. And on Prince Edward Island, this winter is looking worse than usual. More now from Taylor O'Brien.
The weather has been inconsistent this winter, and that has provincial apiarist Cameron Menzies worried about what the island's bee population will look like in the spring. Menzies says about 6,000 beehives were put up heading into the fall and winter. While he says beekeepers prepare hives to buffer against the freeze-thaw cycles, the loss of some bees is normal, but this winter has the potential to be worse than usual.
When we get a period of warm weather and then it snaps cold after, that is usually pretty bad for the bees because they start to get more energetic, they're using some of their winter stores, and then all of a sudden it gets very cold again, and then that can shock them.
Judy Wells has taken part in some beekeeping workshops on the island. She has a hive and is worried about what her bees' health will be like come spring.
I'm itching for spring to come so I can open up, and it takes a lot to not go peek and look, but I also don't want to disturb them because I'm concerned that's going to kind of do more harm. So I'm super eager for spring to come so I can get in there and see how they're doing.
The health of the province's bees is critical for lots of agricultural operations on the island, including flower producers.
I have at times felt like maybe there's not as many bees around the lavender as there were in the first few years when I started.
Menzies says last year's winter was one of the best on record when it came to colony mortality. Despite his concerns about this winter's weather, he remains hopeful that many of the bees will survive. Taylor O'Brien, CBC News, Summerside.
A Richmond teenager has found a creative way to bring people together. We'll share her puzzling plan next.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
On February 11th, CBC's Stephen Quinn moderates the alumni UBC webinar, Think Well, Live Well, Brain Health for Life. Join the conversation for expert insight into protecting your brain health and vitality. Register at alumni.ubc.ca and never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter and keep connected with us.
A teenager in Richmond has come up with an idea to create community, a puzzle and game library.
Oh, right up my alley. Her project, now open at O'Hare's Gastropub and Liquor Store in Richmond, has received a grant as well. Check it out.
My name's Allison. So basically I saw like a bunch of these like the book libraries that you'll sometimes see out and about or like in neighborhoods, and like I got like the idea from those type of libraries because I noticed that we have like a lot of puzzles and like games at home, and like once you finish a puzzle you don't really like take it out back again after you built it, so it usually will end up in like the garbage or something. So this idea is like more sustainable, and it like helps the community enjoy like the puzzle that you had fun with as well. Yeah, it can be like a take a game, leave a game situation, or people who like are less fortunate can also just take games, because like other people, as you can see, like donated so many games. Also, like you could just like take a game into O'Hare's and play with it there and then put it back once you're done, or just take it home with you. Yeah, some of them in the library did originally belong to me, but most of them were taken by other people, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, you play with Play-Doh. I used to do it when I was a kid.
Hi, my name is Jennifer DeWolf. I'm the community coordinator for Richmond Neighborhood Small Grants, which is run through Richmond Cares, Richmond Gives.
I've never seen this one before.
We have Youth Neighborhood Small Grants, which is how this project happened, which is for individuals who are aged 12 to 24. And we also offer Indigenous Neighborhood Small Grants as well. So depending upon which qualifications you meet, you could apply through that stream, and that committee will go through those projects. But what you actually do as a project is completely flexible. Neighborhood Small Grants is all about grassroots granting. Our main focus is getting the community together, and that community can be people with the same interests as you, or it can be people who live on the same block as you. I loved how accessible it was for everybody. It included anyone in the community who wanted to participate, anyone who wanted to play a game, get their friends or family together. There's absolutely no cost, and it's completely flexible on what day you want to use it. And also for individuals who maybe have too many puzzles or games in their house, they can then donate them and know that it's going to somebody else who can use it. Harris has been supportive of many different aspects of Richmond Cares, Richmond Gives, but Allison, our project leader, had to reach out and talk to them, pitch her idea, explain what she wanted to do, how that would affect the community, and then ultimately get them to approve it. So it was all her doing.
I'm really happy about it because at the beginning we did have troubles receiving donations, as we didn't really receive donations from neighbors. So that led us just to put our own puzzles and games in there. And then since the news article came out, it really helped populate the box, which made people donate more, which is really nice to see. Probably take the Monopoly, because Monopoly is really fun to play with your family.
When we walked up today, I was actually enticed by Cranium. We used to play it when I was younger, and it was a lot of fun, so I definitely gravitate towards that.
I loved everything they said in that piece, except Monopoly's really fun with your family. I could not disagree with that more. But nice to see all the games stacked up on top of the box, too.
Plus Twister. You might not want to do that one after a couple of pints at O'Harris, but you never know. Pint and a puzzle. What a great idea. There we are. And they need Mousetrap. It's the craziest game you'll ever see.
All right. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6, Different Generations. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, YouTube, and our website.
And we'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. See you then.